Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Lauren Niemeyer, and I'm the Web 2.0 Specialist in the Learning Technologies Group within the Division of Information Technology. So thanks for joining us for today's webinar. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the Web 2.0 tools that you can use to supplement your instruction. So you may be getting a little bored of using the same old PowerPoints, and this session will cover a few tools that you can use as alternatives to that. So if you have any questions throughout, feel free to just you can type them in the chat pod, you can raise your hand, you can speak, and I guess we'll get going. So what is Web 2.0 content delivery? This is what we'll be talking about today. Also considerations for using Web 2.0 in your instruction. The overview of tools. These are the four main tools we're going to be highlighting today. I could probably do an entire presentation on each of these, but I'm going to do a scaled back overview of some of what I think are the main highlights and features. And then I'm going to showcase, highlight a few other Web 2.0 content delivery tools at the very end, some new ones that are just recently come out. And then we will wrap up and have time for any other questions. So I consider Web 2.0 tools, there's so many out there, it's hard to I know wrap your head around some of them, but I think it's easy to break them down into four main categories. Collaboration, this is your collaborative team documents, your ongoing team collaboration, things like that. Then there's community building. This would be your introductions, your collecting of ideas, wrapping up the journey towards the end of your course. Then there's demonstrations of learning, and this would be your students' reflections, their team projects, things like that. And finally, today's topic, which is content delivery tools. Content delivery tools can be defined as a number of things in a class. You can start out an introduction to your week's content or a topic. And maybe, I'm not sure if it's easy for you to see right here, two very simple tools that I've used and helped instructors use in their classes. The one on the top right is Voki, which is a really neat, it's a talking avatar, so you can embed that in your course at the start of the week just to give a little introduction. You can choose tons of different avatars. You can be anything from a bear to a person to anything, basically, you name it. And down below, this is another neat little option to get students excited about the week. It's called Pixton, pixton.com, and it's an online comic strip. So you can spend a lot of time on this one, let me tell you. But it's really neat. You can choose everything from what they're wearing to where their hands are pointing, and most importantly, to what they're saying. So in this one, it was mainly just to let the students know that they were supported, and sometimes it just brings a little humor to the class also, which is good. Then, yes, Voki is V-O-K-I, so Voki.com. Thanks, Matt. And Pixton is P-I-X-T-O-N, Pixton.com. So they're both, you can sign up for free accounts, and Voki, I think they have an education also account. And then, of course, which I'll get into a little later, you can upgrade with a fee to get rid of sometimes some ads or maybe get more options. But definitely the free versions are very fine. Also, there's self-paced content presentation, something like Prezi or SlideShare, which are two of the tools that we're going to be talking about today. And the students can view this content at their own pace, take their time, and then finally video and interactive content presentation. This would be something like Jing, I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, or Screencast-O-Matic. These are ways where you can capture a screencast on your computer, and they're both free. Jing has 5 free minutes to start out with, and then you can upgrade. And Screencast-O-Matic is 15 free minutes, so that's pretty great right there. And I was very excited to find out this week, I read in an article that there are 2 new screen capturing options for the iPad. So there's one called Explain Everything, and then there's one called EduCreations. I haven't tested them out yet, so I can't give you guys the nitty-gritty on them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And so just thought I'd share that with you. Let's move on to consideration. So with all Web 2.0 tools, you always need to keep in mind the following considerations when you're deciding which ones you're going to be using. So most importantly, what's the purpose or your intended learning? You don't want to use technology just for technology's sake. So these should all be used to enhance your content, not to distract from the student learning. And there's access. Access is twofold. The first side of things, do students have the ability to access the technology when they are viewing their presentation? Here at University of Maryland, that's mostly yes is the case. There doesn't seem to be many firewalls or things like that, but if you're in the education department, you may have students who are student teaching, and this could be a concern for them in the K through 12 environment. And the second part of access is accessibility. Some tips that I can share, always try to have a script written. This is beneficial, so helps you stay on track when you're doing these presentations, and then it also provides a transcript that you can provide to your students. So, if you embed a presentation, then you can always post the transcript for those who are hearing impaired, things like that. There are also some tools that you can even upload the notes, and they can be accessed with the presentation. SlideShare features this. There's SlideBoom, which also has a closed captioning option. And finally, if you're using a tool where you convert a PowerPoint into an online presentation, then you may also want to consider posting your PowerPoint as well. That means I'm talking about the Prezis and things like that, where your presentation is in the cloud and you're sort of creating it within that tool. So next is cost. When Web 2.0 tools are free, it sometimes means there are advertisements or sometimes limitations. Some sites feature education plans, so it's good to look around the site for that. Others, you have to, sometimes you have to pay to get an upgrade for more features. And there's appearance, it sort of goes along with the cost, with the advertisements. Is it too distracting for students, things like that. Security, is your course content secure? Some tools offer options where anyone with a link from the instructor can view the content, and some you can turn on and off your privacy settings. Stability, is the site reliable? I suggest always having a backup plan. We know that although it's amazing, sometimes technology does have glitches. So a perfect example of that is there's an online poster tool that you may have heard of. It's called Glogster.com. And as much as I think it's a great concept, you basically have a site and you can embed different things, links to things. You can embed videos. It's a really neat way to present content. But every time I seem to go to it, or I'm counting on it, I'm using it for a presentation, the site always seems to be down. So it's very handy, and you should always have a backup plan for that. So I hate to do it, but Glogster, I give you a thumbs down. Finally, usability. Is the tool easy to use? Is there going to be learning curves for you while you're using it? Or what about your students? Do they need to download anything? Things like that. So those are some considerations for all Web 2.0 tools, but I just thought we should highlight them before we delve deeply into things. So the first tool that I want to talk about today is SlideShare. SlideShare, they boast it's the world's largest presentation sharing community. So there's about 60 million monthly visitors, 130 million page views. It's among the most visited 200 websites in the world. That's what SlideShare says. So they support presentations, documents, PDFs, videos, and webinars. I've been using SlideShare for a pretty long time, and it has always been it's always been reliable, and I think a very easy tool to get up and running with. So I thought we would highlight this one today. So I'm going to share my screen now so you can get a little bit more of an idea. At least I'm going to try to. Hang on. Please bear with me one moment. Okay, I think. Let me see. Oh, great. Deb says she can see it, so that is great. Okay, so I had to switch computers earlier. So here is my backup plan for today. I'm on a different computer now, so I have to re-log into everything. So just bear with me one moment, please. Another helpful tip is to, when you join these sites, they usually send you an email. So I usually try to keep a folder of those with all my logins and passwords, because it can get a little bit overwhelming at times if you have a ton of logins and passwords like me. So, okay, now we're in SlideShare. Let's see. So in SlideShare, you have the ability to you can embed this on your class blogs and your content area, in wikis. You can share this on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and students have the ability to download your presentations as well. So this is the main login screen. I'm going to click on My Uploads. Here are a few of the presentations I've done in the past. Here's today's, actually the one at the top. I'm going to click on this so you can see. Oh, here's an example. If you look on the left-hand side, analytics, this is something in SlideShare that you would have to upgrade to be able to see who's accessing your content. You can get some really detailed information on who's clicking, where they are, how often they're looking at it, and you can also customize your channel. So you'll see that there's some advertising, and so you can get rid of that if you do that. But other than that, there's a lot of options that you can still get to. I'm going to go back and click on the edit, actually. I've already published this. So here we are inside where you can edit. You can edit the title, give it description. You can give it tags. So this is a neat way if you want to have this presentation public, you can add tags so people can search and find it easily. One of the greatest features of SlideShare is how to create a slide cast. So with this feature, I can record myself using Audacity or another podcasting type software, and I would just click Upload MP3 file and search for that on my computer. Since I apologize, I'm not on my own computer, so I don't have any. And then once you click that, well, I'll go to one that actually that I've already added some. So here's my SlideCast. As you can see, I've already created and published it. So I've already synced up my audio here, but what's really neat is when you bring in the audio, you get to choose how to sync it up. So you move the slider to designate what section you're at. So you can play it. I'm not sure if you can hear this. So basically, it's really easy. You just move these to designate which area on the slide you're on. So see, I'll click to the tool panel, and this is the section over here. And then you just go through like that, and you save. You can preview your save work, and then you publish it. You can also just choose to divide the audio equally, but I don't really suggest that because you don't know where they're going to designate the different slides. You can also add a YouTube video. It seems that there's usually a tab right up here next to Edit Slidecast where you can click on and then you can embed a YouTube video that you may find that is relevant to your presentation, and then you would just click on that and you can add that. Next, one thing I want to show you is you can make, there's a new feature, it's called Zipcast. Whoops, there it goes. My Zipcast right here. This is a really new feature. It's an option maybe for smaller groups of students if they want to get together to talk informally about your material. You can, I'll give this a test and we'll start it now, schedule it. You can invite people. So you just type in their email address and it's please join my Zipcast meeting. It's basically just a little area where you can get together and discuss maybe the presentation. You can use a webcam, audio, and text. It doesn't have all the features like recording, or if you're doing this as a formal talk about your course content, I would definitely suggest using Wimba Classroom for any formal presenting. But if students in your class want an informal way, this is a great way to do that, and they can draw on the slides, etc. And go back to my uploads. So here's an example of what it will look like for your students once you send it. So they have the option to download the file. Right now I have disabled this, but I would just go into my edit area and make it downloadable. Here's where you'll get the embed code. You can email it and you can send it on Facebook. You can tweet it. You can share it on LinkedIn, which I think is a really neat feature. They have an add-on, so you can embed any presentation that you've uploaded in SlideShare right into your profile page. So it's a great feature if you want to highlight some work that you've done. If you're really proud of a presentation, you can add it right there. Right now, SlideShare does not have any apps for mobile devices, but you can easily browse to it on like your iPad browser or your Android browser. And also you see there's an area for comments, so students can comment as well. So are there any questions about slideshow. Let's see. Yes, Matt, it is a great, I think one of the best features is that slidecast feature to match up audio to it, and then it makes a nice little presentation. So now let's move on to VoiceThread. I believe I have to sign in here as well. Okay, great. So VoiceThread is one of my favorite tools personally. It can be considered more of a collaboration tool, leaning towards that side of the Web 2.0 spectrum, but it can also be used to present information. It's a collaborative multimedia slideshow. It holds images, documents, videos. It allows students can navigate at their own pace. They can leave comments. There's 5 different ways that they can add comments. Yes, let's see. Zipcast is a way for students to post presentations. Well, Sharon, they can, it's mostly a way, if they have an account, they can definitely upload a presentation there, and then they can all work on it together if they're doing a group project. Whoever owns that, who's ever created that document or that presentation is who can send out the Zipcast, I guess, room invitation. So now, would it be easier for them to do something like Google Docs and have a huddle room? Probably, but it's just another option for them. Yes, June, if they create their own account, they can definitely post a presentation. Okay, let's see. So VoiceThread, students can reply in 5 different ways. They can use a voice. You can call in on your telephone. I've worked with a faculty member who she wasn't comfortable using the voice over IP on her computer, so she just called on the phone and it worked great. Then also you can use your mic, you can use text, you can upload an audio file, or you can do video via your webcam. I'm not sure if you can, I don't think you can hear that. But so instructors can create and share a VoiceThread with their students, and then their students can record comments back. So right here, this is just an example of, this is a VoiceThread I created. I was in a workshop earlier this fall, and I was just posing a question to my fellow colleagues that were in the course with me, and so I don't think you can hear this, but so I had a little question that I posed to the group, and then if you click, as you go through, I'm not sure if you can see it. It's kind of hard to, it might be hard to see through the share window, but there's little breaker marks. So each time you go to one of these, it basically designates another person speaking or however they decided. So this guy, he was the webcam to respond to the question. This man, he posted a link for me to look at, and then he also did some just regular audio. And this lady did audio, and this woman did a webcam too. So it's just a dynamic way for people to interact and collaborate. This presentation only has 1 slide, but ideally your presentation that you would upload would have all your slides on it. I'm not sure. It looks like I thought I uploaded this presentation in here, but it seems that it's on my other computer still, so I apologize for that. But you just simply click on the Create tab, you upload from my computer, you would browse. Let's see if there's any. Maybe no. Well, you guys get the idea. Yes, Sharon, this is free. This is completely free. One thing to note, though, is that for the free version, you get to upload 5 presentations. If you pay a little bit more money, I think it's $99 a year for a higher ed instructor account, you are able to upload, I believe, let's see if we can. I think you get an unlimited amount. Sorry, I don't want to click too many times. But yeah, I believe you get an unlimited amount of uploads and commenting. There are some lessons learned that I've experienced through using this tool for a while. VoiceThread is better for smaller amounts of students. So if you have a class of, say, 70, you might want to break those students down into smaller groups if you're going to have them comment on the slides, just because it starts to get a little crowded in the room. Right here, we just have 5 people, so it's not a big deal, and you could probably have about 10 or 15 before it would start to get a little bit crazy, a little bit crowded in there. Let's call it that. And also, for students to be able to comment, they do need to create their own account. So that is something to consider if you're going to be using this. There is an iPad app for this. I've tested it out. It's more of just a viewer, so if you're going to be developing the PowerPoint, you would develop it on your computer in PowerPoint, and then you would just upload it via the VoiceThread on your desktop version. And then you can view it on your iPad, and you can also comment and add video and voice, but you just can't create a presentation. But that should be fine for the students if they're viewing it on their mobile device. Right now, I did not notice, I looked up and I couldn't find an Android app for it, but you could always use the browser. There's also a whiteboard overlay, so you can, when you upload a slide, you can doodle or make notes on the slide while you're commenting, and it's very easy to embed in all of your course areas, or if you have a blog or a wiki. And after maybe the week is complete and everyone's commented or viewed it, you can export it as an MP3, and then you can maybe save that to your class files, and students can have this as to review later on as a review tool. So, okay. Now next, actually I'll save. I'm going to talk about Google Earth tours. I'll finish up with that. Unfortunately, since I'm on this the lab computer, I don't have the Google Earth app downloaded, which is one of considerations. You do have to download an actual software piece onto your computer to be able to use the Google Earth tours, not for the students to view them, but so on this computer I don't have that to show you, so sorry, but I'll definitely talk about it. I have a slide, so we can just give the main gist of that. So now let's finish up with Prezi. Has anyone out there used Prezi or worked with it? Never even heard of it. Great. I'm teaching you something new. Woohoo. So Prezi has evolved greatly, I think. When it first came out a couple of years ago, it was there was a kind of a steep learning curve for it. But now they've added new features and it's a lot more easy to use. It's basically a cloud-based presentation software that it's a mixture between a whiteboard and a slide. It has a zoomable canvas, which makes it fun for the students to explore the ideas and make the connections. A nicely done Prezi can be very, very captivating, and yeah, it will. I think it will definitely appeal to your students and anyone who is viewing your presentation. So, like I said, there is a learning curve. So I think that's why they designated an entire tab to Learning Prezi. So I definitely suggest if you sign up to take a look at this, you definitely click on the Learn tab to get started and get yourself familiar with the layout. It teaches you how to move around, scale, rotate. Then once you move to the next level on how to add frames and grouping. And then finally, how to view and edit and publish your content. But they also provide cheat sheets, and there's videos, and there's also a community. So if you have any questions, well, you can always come to me, of course. But if you want to see if anyone else out there is experiencing something, you can join the community. You can join Facebook. Of course, they tweet. So let's take a look at actually uh-oh. Okay, well, I was a little afraid of this. Prezi, it's very dynamic. So with the screen sharing with Wimba, I thought it might be a little bit. Let's see. It's good to see the gotchas. Exactly, Deb. This is considerations, which is another thing I suggest is playing with these tools a lot, making yourself very familiar with them so that, oh man, that sad face is how I feel right now. So that when you get in front of your class or you feel confident, you want to feel confident in your presentation, and I know that's definitely an important thing. Right, and exactly. Good point, Deb. I'm inside a Wimba classroom sharing my screen, so Prezi is not going to be, I've never really experienced any crashing with it. And this just is a Flash plugin. So yes, Sharon, you do need an internet connection. There may be, you know what? I think they have added, you can make a copy. I think you may be able to look at it online, but you can't really comment or anything on that. Let's see. Let's go to settings. So I can link this to my Facebook account. I can keep track of any comments or replies. Giving your presentation a customized link is, or your profile customized link. So maybe all your students would have easy access to. I would do /Niemeyer instead of RWMMLQ. That's a little hard for people to get. So you can just change it right here, Niemeyer. There we go. They can get access just like that to all of my presentations. So if you want to get inspiration from others in the education, you can just click on the Explore tab and click More. Prezi it's very neat. You can set it up so it rotates. You can zoom in on things. Let me see, actually, if I can get to a video. Is this video, can everyone see this? You might not be able to hear it, but is it playing? Oh, great. See, now, hooray. Yes. Right now, they're speaking, and you would be able to hear it, but since we're sharing through the Wimbo room, I can hear it, but unfortunately, it's not. It doesn't work like that. So, but if you went to Prezi, you would definitely be able to hear it. But this is great, so you can get an idea of how you can set up the presentation so it scrolls and you can zoom in on things. That's probably good. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of how that works. You can explore other people's Prezis for inspiration. Some presentations are even marked as reused, so you can copy and use the same zoom-ins and frames of someone else's, but just populate it with your own information. And you can even like it and comment on it. Some Prezi tips from past experiences that I've had. For Prezi, I would suggest not using your most verbose lecture for conversion into Prezi. It's not like SlideShare where I can take my presentation in PowerPoint and just click upload. It's housed on that cloud, so you're typing in all your content information directly into the Prezi. So if you have a very large presentation file with a lot of information, maybe that's one that you would just upload into SlideShare or something like that instead of this Prezi. But Prezi, it's easy to read, it's clean, it's fresh. Another thing, yes, also, let's see. Yes, Matt, exactly. So if you have a lot of photos or things like that, you can also embed video in here, so that's a great option. Right, but again, it's more of that visual look kind of thing than so much text. You can sign up for a prezi.edu account, and that's great. It gives you a lot more access. You can put your own logo. You don't see the ads. You can change the privacy settings a little bit more easily or tailored to your needs. You can do Poll Everywhere. That's a polleverywhere.com. That's sort of a way to do a little survey that you can embed into your Prezi, so that's kind of neat. And let's see, their iPad and iPhone apps that are out are view only. So you would be creating this on your desktop or your laptop computer. You wouldn't be making this on your iPad or your iPhone, but you can definitely view them. So that's great for the students' access. And right now there's no specific Android app, but again, they would just be able to use the browser for that. So Prezi is definitely something very fun that you can get really, really creative with. And if you don't watch yourself, you can spend a lot of time in this tool playing around with it. But the presentations can be just really amazing in this. Okay, I'm going to end my sharing now. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Google Earth tours, just to give you an idea of what it's about. You can create and play tours of places and content. So like a guided experience, you can fly from one location to another. You can view the terrain and content. Students and yourself can look in, go into as much detail as you want. You can see 3D buildings. You do need Google Earth version 5 or later. But again, you just download that to your computer. It's very easy. It's just a little plug-in. Oh, sorry. Let's see what. Yes, Deb. Sometimes in Prezi, it gets a little motion sickness. Right. That's definitely a consideration. You can, for Prezi, when you move back and forth, and sometimes maybe you don't want to go upside down when you're moving from one content area or frame to the next one. That is definitely a consideration. You don't want to get your students that motion sickness. I don't believe there's a way to manually make it slow down, but that might be a good comment to send them. So again, in Google Earth tours, for example, this would be great if you were doing a geography class. So you could have a tour that explores the topography or various different terrains around the land. You can even go underwater. There is not just Google Earth anymore. You can click a drop-down menu and get a 3D version of the moon and Mars and the sky. If you're in an astronomy class, you can show lunar landing spots and view images, and then you can connect the video to it. And then you just package it as a tour, it's called. So you save that, and as long as your students also have Google Earth version 5, the way they do it is you can send it to them to view. So it's just another neat way to present content that's a little bit different from your normal PowerPoint. And Google Earth does have apps for iPad and your Android. So that is very convenient. Oh, and finally, one last thing I did want to mention, you can use a tour. You can browse tours, so you can find someone else has done a tour of ancient Rome. And you can just copy that tour and send it out to your students, and they can view, they can travel right through the Parthenon, just like it's there today. So there's really neat what's out there. So finally today, I just want to showcase some new Web 2.0 presentation tools that are just coming out, and so these are just other options, just so you know that I didn't want to overwhelm you with too many, and I hope I didn't do that today, but I really just wanted to inspire everyone and give you a little taste of what's out there and get your creative juices flowing. So Ahead.com, that's similar to Prezi. It has that non-linear presentation style. Vuvox.com, this is more like a gallery presentation. It's interactive. It could be great for an art history class or a photography course. SlideBoom, very similar to SlideShare. And then just a few others, Screencast-O-Matic. It's like Jing or Camtasia. So, does someone have a question? There's one, SlideRocket.com. That's pretty neat. you can create presentations. You can upload your slides like SlideBoom or SlideShare, but this you create the presentation within the tool, but you can embed live Twitter feeds or YouTube videos. You can enable collaboration within the tool. So exactly, Matt, there's so many options out there. So and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, and this leads us to our last slide. If you have any questions at all, just feel free to email the learningtools@umd.edu, and this, I'm on this email reflector, so if you have any questions or you want to go over some ideas or just throw back some ideas back and forth, anything, I'd be happy to work with you, and I'm sure we can definitely find the right tool for your specific needs or situations. So does anyone have any more questions? Okay, great. Well, I hope this was helpful and inspired you, and oh, thanks, you guys. And please come back next week. We have a great presentation. Dr. Alex Chen, he's from the School of Architecture, and he's going to be talking about reflections on his use. He's been using Twitter in the classroom, I think, for the past couple of semesters, and he's going to be sharing his reflections on how that went and talk about considerations and best practices. So we hope to see you then, and thanks again for joining us today. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I think hopefully we got some good information out of it. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day.